Moon Knight is not going to be returning, at least not according to rumors, and it's very specifically just not Oscar Isaac, because we're going to get into that. Plus, more speculation on who Henry Cavill is going to be playing in the MCU, as well as a James Bond rumor that is kind of a confirmation, but it's still a rumor, from something we talked about many months ago. So that and quite a bit more, let's get into the rumor mill.
Maybe. It's classified.
Hello nerds, and welcome to the Rumor Mill. You have found the appropriate cheat code to get to the news before it becomes news. Here we will discuss rumors in the pop culture and nerdy realm of things, then we will discuss the probability that those rumors are legitimate, and then finally probably a little bit of my own personal speculation. If you want the more concrete news that has already become news, then there is a full news show over on the main channel called The Week in Nerddom, which you can find linked down in the description, as well as at the end of this video. Now, let's see what all of those rumor mongers have to say, and which of them are just plain full of poop. Rumors this week, we have no... Or do we? No, I think we do technically have a refutation, which was the Rogue Squadron situation. Also, not just Rogue Squadron, but Marvel, the Disney Marvel stuff. So Rogue Squadron is not canceled. Also, Wonder Man, Ironheart, not canceled. So that's refutations. We talked about those rumors a number of times as other sources have picked them up, and apparently Disney just decided to shoot them all down this week, so there's that. But we do have a new source on an old rumor, this one dealing with Ryan Gosling in the MCU. Gosling previously was connected to potentially playing Doctor Doom or Mr. Fantastic. We now know he's definitely not going to be Mr. Fantastic, but that does still leave Doctor Doom open. This is a new source. New source is adding to it. They're saying either Doctor Doom or the Ghost Rider. I think we previously have also talked about him being connected to the Ghost Rider project, so this is really just one source combining information. I don't think it makes it any more or less likely, so we're just going to continue on into the new rumors. We have some very interesting new rumors. First up, we have Moon Knight. Oscar Isaac is said to not be returning to play Mark Spector, but it's not because of scheduling. It's not because Moon Knight is going away per se. What it is because it's rumored that they're changing the Fist of Khonshu from Mark Spector to Blade. Okay. This just rings so hollow, and for so many reasons, not the least of which being Oscar Isaac is kind of a huge thing right now. But also, Blade, like, we have to reestablish who Blade is as far as how it relates to the MCU. So to say that, I think that's just way too much confusing information way too soon and way too fast. Though there is it's a pretty good source. So like, I don't like to make that, because usually good sources like this are pretty accurate. There is way too much going on here for this to be 100% or even halfway there. So we're gonna drop that down. We're gonna say about 40% likely that we're going to see Blade as the Fist of Khonshu. I think, will Oscar Isaac be returning as Mark Spector? That's very much still up in the air. But will they change the character of Moon Knight into Blade in some way? I think that's rather unlikely. From there, we have an Eternals 2 rumor to talk about. So previously, it was rumored that there was going to be a second Eternals movie, in spite of the abysmal performance of the first one. But now, depending on which rumor monger you go to, it is being said either that the Eternals movie has been canceled, which, how can you cancel something that didn't exist to begin with? Or the other option is they're evolving, they're mutating, if you will, the Eternals movie into the X-Men movie. So we will see Eternals in the first X-Men as a group movie, because that's what this has evolved into. I think that makes a lot more sense. I don't think they're going to, again, cancel something that didn't fully exist to begin with. I think that they're going to take established characters, however well established is very much up for debate, but taking established characters in order to establish new characters. Technically, the X-Men are the more popular here in the equation, but as far as the MCU is concerned, the Eternals already exist, so we need these established, created characters to kind of give some sort of credibility to the X-Men. I don't think that's sound logic, but I think that's the logic they're going with. And again, great source. So 70% likely that the Eternals movie has morphed into the X-Men movie. From that, we're going with Henry Cavill, another Henry Cavill rumor. This one is going to be similar to one we talked about previously, but it is not the same. So previously we've talked about rumors that say Henry Cavill is going to be the MCU version of Wolverine moving forward past the Deadpool movie. And this rumor is kind of stepping that back just a little bit, because we know we're dealing with the TVA, we know we're dealing with the multiverse, we know we're dealing with different variants of these characters. So this rumor is saying that Henry Cavill is not going to be the Wolverine going forward, but in the Deadpool movie, he is going to be a Wolverine that we get, so a variant of Wolverine. There's plenty on both sides of this that say it could happen, it could not happen, not the least of which being like it's Henry Cavill, so he is kind of a busy guy, and that would lend it to be more, yeah, he's just going to do this one-off thing because it's kind of fan servicey. Or he's Henry Cavill and he brings a lot of people into the movie theaters, and Wolverine is another character that's going to bring a lot of people into the movie theaters. So why not bring those two together? Like there's that as well. So like kind of based on both of those things, and honestly there have been a number of outlets that have talked about this, 3 very major ones at this point. So we're going to say split the difference, go 50-50. It could go either way on this. I honestly personally think the more likely way is going to be that they're going to find a character that they can do a short movie series around. So do the traditional 5 movie contract where he gets the 3 solo movies and then he has 2 cameo appearances. That seems to make a bit more sense, but again, it could go either way. So from there we have James Bond. James Bond is our next big rumor. Aaron Taylor Johnson, who, you know, played Kick-Ass and was in the first big legendary film's Godzilla movie. Aaron Taylor Johnson is reportedly about to sign the deal. This is from the rumor monger, about to sign the deal to become a 007. And yeah, I can see that because he's young enough, like he's similarly aged, I'm going to say, to where Daniel Craig was when Daniel Craig first signed on to play the character. He's also similarly built. He's in very good shape. There is a lot of like superficial reasons why. There's not a whole lot that says no. And this is also a rumor that previously when we were talking about potential replacements for Daniel Craig, he was on that short list. So this is kind of confirmation rumor of a rumor. So shouldn't go much over 50%. And we're not. We're going 60% likely that we will see Aaron Taylor Johnson in the role of James Bond 007 going. I think that's actually really potentially exciting. From there we have MetaQuest 3. There have been a number of leaks for the MetaQuest 3 over the course of the last week. And some of them I think are AI generated and some of them I think are potentially actually leaks. We're going to say the ones that are without the AR lenses on the outside are probably AI generated. The other ones that leaked out that are part of that marketing campaign that leaked out, and I'll see if I can find the pictures and put them up on screen, but there was a marketing campaign that supposedly leaked out from a Meta business meeting that does have some of the AR lenses on the outside of the goggles. That seems to be a little bit more likely, but it's very, very much suspect nonetheless, just because of the number of leaks. Maybe the ones without the cameras were like early iterations of the Quest 3, but this also kind of lines up with the fact that Meta was talking about trying to release something that was a little bit more budget friendly, so that stands to reason as well. Quest 3 Lite has been thrown around a little bit, so maybe one is the Lite version, one is the regular version. There's a lot going on here, but 55% likely, I think, that any of these rumors are true. I think the more likely are, again, the ones with the augmented reality cameras on the front. And then our final rumor for this episode is foldable phones. It's actually 2 rumors. The first of which being Samsung and their next Galaxy Z Fold phone is supposedly going to be in 2 flavors. We're going to have a budget consumer-friendly flavor and then the high-end version. The Z Fold 6, the budget version reportedly is going to be launching at $800, and then the high-end version is more likely to be quite a bit more expensive, but is going to have full functionality, whereas the budget version won't have like the S Pen functionality and will have a much smaller battery and so on and so on and so forth. The flagship version will have a huge amount of battery, have full functionality, etc., etc. I think that's about 85% likely because they've talked about doing that previously, so the fact that this is rumored to be finally happening kind of goes in line with that. And then our other foldable phone rumor that we have is Apple is said to be joining the foldable phone stampede. I don't know what you would call it exactly, but 2026 is when they're supposedly going to be releasing their first foldable phone, a foldable smartphone, so it's the foldable screen effectively. And premium price tag obviously is going to be much more high than the Samsung phone because it's Apple. I honestly, I'm kind of surprised that this hasn't leaked out or been rumored sooner. So we're going to say about 90% likely that we will be seeing a foldable phone from Apple come 2026. That, nerds, is everything for the rumor mill. I was going to jump into some speculation, but I feel like there's nothing really to speculate on beyond. So yeah, we don't got any speculation this week, but we do have the end of the rumor mill. So thank you very much. That brings us to the end of the video, nerds. Thank you very much for joining me for the news. Once again, there is a full and probably much more up-to-date and recent episode of the news, the full-length version, if you will, called The Week in Nerddom over on the main channel, linked down in the description, and probably link popping up somewhere around my face right about now. So click on that, go check that out as well, or if you prefer your news in more truncated pieces, then by all means just stick around here and go check out some of the other stuff we offer on this channel. Thank you very much for joining me. We will see you in the next one. Before we go, always remember, nerds, that if it is generally nerdy, it's probably here.